Bix Webcast is a new kind of healthcare media channel to break the silo mentality and foster interdisciplinary thinking. Our mission is to fill that gap and to create a curiosity through different lenses, tapping the passion that guided the historical figures in medicine and bringing present-day groundbreaking research to the front lines. We interview physicians and leaders in the industry about present-day healthcare challenges on our live programming.
Hey, welcome you all. Welcome. This is Ramana Annamaraju. I'm the host of the MedBix Webcast. No, I'm not Albert Einstein, but I'm pretty good. The big difference is I don't eat pork. But anyway, thank you for joining. But thank you for all the, I have hundreds of wishes from the Facebook and LinkedIn and all the places. Thank you all, bottom of my heart. I love this to talk about the interdisciplinary fields like mathematics and physics and biology and medicine and technology and philosophy. The reason is I'm exposed to all of them. I have a master's degree in physics. Then I spent 3 decades in the healthcare industry. So I juggled around everything in that area. Jack of all trades, but master of none. But jack of all trades are definitely true in my situation. So I like to bring that forefront of those interdisciplinary fields to the front lines. And then innovation is not a lot of physicians think going to MBA is going to solve all the problem and you get all the innovative ideas. It's not. In fact, only thing you get from MBA is the efficiency, or how to take advantage of the existing system, not innovation. You need a mathematics and physics. You have to throw different lenses. You got to see, and then the inspirations that historical figures got through inspiration. How did they get that inspiration for the innovations? Is that just inspiration is same? It doesn't matter 1600 or 2022, 2023. Doesn't matter. So it is an inspiration. Is you need to count what it takes that inspiration to come. But today I'm not interviewing anybody today because all beginning of the year. So we had a great day yesterday. I presented a physician and electricity and magnetism. You must see it. If you're a doctor, you know what are the advances in what is electricity and magnetism played a role, and what are the advances that came out of that both fields. But now today is a entirely different topic. Is a mental health, a relaxation. I'm going to present a kind of a. I'm going to test it. Okay. Just a minute. I'm going to test it. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for be patient. Thank you for being patient. Mental health, relax. I find strange connections between different fields, different things. That is the innovation. Seemingly odd things that you think they're all entirely separate from each other, but the people like Albert Einstein, for example, space-time geometry, and then gravity, shear, and the gravity, and the and then he found out that strange connections, um, between the those geometry and the gravity. So it's if you think about it, there is no connection on the onset, but he found the connections. Exactly, I try to do same thing. I'm definitely not Albert Einstein by far from that situation, but we I want to bring that little bit of that exposure to the medicine. So today I'm going to present a video, and after that I'm going to explain to you a little bit about that fractal geometry, how the fractal geometry is connected with the mental health and relaxation. That is my topic. It's going to be a fascinating topic, and let me play the. I'm going to play that video. Um, that one second. I'm going to bring it to the.
For mental relaxation, early human civilizations in the East practiced Buddha's teachings, while in the West they performed rituals. One place they mastered the consciousness through meditation, and other place they altered consciousness through psychedelics. But there is another alternative technique called consciousness hacking through technological innovation. A mathematical equation through virtual reality can offer and alter and master consciousness at the same time. A genius painter from Japan, a legendary scientist from Princeton University, and an engineer from IBM came from a different walks of life, from different times, made important contributions for consciousness hacking. Benoit Mandelbrot was hired by IBM to solve a nagging problem in the early days of telecommunications. The problem is a noise popping up while sending the data across telephone lines. Noise is an undesirable or unwanted signal that gets randomly added to the actual information carrying signal. Mandelbrot noticed a fixed pattern of noise repeating across the telephone lines irrespective of the distance the data traveled. Mandelbrot recollected seeing a similar idea before, a picture of a giant wave on a children's spiral notebook. The picture is the original painting from 18th century well-known Japanese artist Katsushika Hokusai. It is called the Great Wave of Kanagawa. Look at any part of the Great Wave, it looks very similar to the whole wave. The whole contains the parts. It looks counterintuitive, but the part also contains the whole. Their artistic expression gave rise to a new concept in mathematics called fractals. Mandelbrot discovered nature's fundamental unit repeated through a geometrical pattern. The same geometrical pattern is present everywhere in the clouds, seashores, trees, and even in the human bodies. The nervous system looks very similar to that of a lightning. The EKG of the heart signal is strikingly similar to that of a noise signal in telephone wires. If you further zoom in into the signal, the strange looking pattern emerges. The pattern is discovered by Mandelbrot, bears his name Mandelbrot set. The nature around you, the snowflakes, trees, mountains are built from these series of Mandelbrot sets. We can also observe Mandelbrot sets at the beginning of life in a woman's womb. The equation that governs the nature is spectacularly simple and displays the nature in exquisite details. Before the public understood the power of the Mandelbrot sets, Hollywood jumped in. The Star Trek movies with the fractals put the movie watchers in a trance. There is a different kind of a trance was described by an American botanist, a former New Age hippie, Terence McKenna. He frequently experimented with a psychedelic brew called ayahuasca. He chronicled his experiences through books and videos. Amazonian Indians consumed this brew on ceremonial occasions. Terence McKenna claims this brew produced visual and auditory hallucinations while his eyes were closed. He claimed his experiences profoundly changed his outlook on life.
Many of them, and they come pounding toward you, and they will stop in front of you and vibrate, but then they do a very disconcerting thing, which is they jump into your body. They jump into your body, and then they jump back out again. And the whole thing is going on in this very high-speed mode where you're being presented with thousands of details per second, and you can't get a hold on, you say, my God, what's happening?
In recent studies by Johns Hopkins and New York University Langone Special Unit Psychedelic Medicine Center conducted studies with a psychedelic drug psilocybin in a controlled environment. The chemical compound in psilocybin is dimethyltryptamine, in short called DMT. The studies show a single dose of psilocybin dramatically reduced the depression with the subjects of research. Interestingly, the visual hallucinations the subjects describing look very similar to Mandelbrot fractals. In the years before, Albert Einstein published a theory of general relativity, a profoundly mind-bending way of looking at nature. Mass tells space-time how to curve, and space-time tells mass how to move. Gravity is not a force, it is an illusion created by the bodies moving in space-time curvature. Einstein deployed a very different branch of mathematics called non-Euclidean geometry. We don't experience non-Euclidean geometry in our everyday lives. American Airlines pilot explained this phenomena through a tricky example. The shortest route from Dallas to Hong Kong is first Dallas to Seattle, then Seattle to Alaska, then Alaska to Siberia, then Siberia to Mongolia, then Mongolia to Hong Kong. That is the shortest route. But you see on a flat map, it creates an illusion the Hong Kong is directly right across Dallas. But if you combine Einstein's non-Euclidean geometrical concepts with the Mandelbrot fractals, watching in a virtual reality devices, it is truly a technical wonder. It produces mind-feasting, kaleidoscoping patterns where all your visual channels are fully occupied. It puts you in a trance and gives you same bliss without inducing substances. The fractals are nature's artistic expressions. Now you are in tune with the nature. Welcome to 25 milligram DMT experience without a DMT. Consciousness hacking through technology is a mass mental relaxation technique for modern humans. Thank you for watching.
Welcome you all back. Welcome back. So that is a fractal medicine basic introductory video. I'm going to give you a little bit more introduction to the fractal geometry, how it's connected with the mental health relaxation. This is I'm doing presentation, so bear with me a little bit. Okay, that's a fractal geometry and psychedelics, and how we can replace the psychedelics with the fractal geometry. That's my topic today. It is educational purposes only. Don't If you have a mental health problem, you need to talk with a doctor or provide healthcare provider or a counselor. This is the educational purpose only and mental health relaxation only. So disclaimer is done, then it's called a fractal medicine. I named it as a fractal medicine. Actually, that is a, I came up with that idea. There is she is Erin Beschwinger. She's from Seattle. She was diagnosed with terminal cancer, fourth stage four cancer, with the breast cancer, and she was consumed by dying thoughts because she has two young kids, and and then a doctor is another Indian doctor, Dr. Sunil Kumar Agarwal, is a physical medicine rehabilitation physician in Seattle area. He wants to prescribe, so to stop these dying thoughts, never-ending dying thoughts, he wants to prescribe psilocybin. That's what he heard about it, the psychedelics. But psilocybin he cannot prescribe because it was a it is a Schedule 1 drug. Schedule 1 drug means drugs with no currently accepted medical use and high potential for abuse. That's absolutely true. There's a lot of people in the 1960s and 50s and 60s and 70s, the hippie times, they abused these kind of medications, these kind of drugs. So they're kind of concerned about it as fairly true. But actually, there's a Right to Try Act. There's a passed in the previous administration. It passed what it says that you can basically you can throw all the experimental drugs towards the ending people who are about to die. They're about to terminal ill patients. So that is the but the organizations, the regulatory agencies are very concerned about it, rightly so, because these are all they can abuse. People can abuse it very easily. It can slip off from the labs and everything. So John Hopkins and New York University, Langone, are they doing it in a controlled atmosphere? It has to be extremely controlled. So, as you know, not only Erin Beschwinger, she's going through a dying thoughts. We're all going through after the pandemic, going through the same thoughts. In fact, including myself, it is a really bad. Is a mental health crisis is really bad. As you know, the whole world. I've been talking with my sister in India and everything. She's saying some weird things. People feel entirely different than before. It's so strange. Very weird kind of vibes are there. So mental health crisis, as you know, you're seeing that violence. You see that it manifests into, it's a 1 billion people around the world with some kind of a mental health problem. 1 billion people out of 8 billion people. Think about that, guys. Uh, 3 million people die due to the substance abuse. 40 seconds a person dies by suicide. It's just a horrible statistics. What is the mental health? The manifestation of the mental health comes out as outcomes are is a dangerous outcomes are is a racial violence and domestic violence, and long COVID is another added factor. Supply chain problems that we're having, suicide thoughts, all kinds of things, financial burdens, all of them are causing serious problems for the mental health. But we cannot put the there is no there's not easy there are not easy solutions. There are not too many easy solutions because there's a stigma attached to it. People who seek mental health, they look it out upon down, and then access is a bigger problem, that we don't have enough personnel to treat the counselors and the psychiatrists, and mental health institutions are not there enough. And the cost is, some insurance sometimes they cover, they don't cover. So you have to come out from your pocket. It is a very, very uh, um, uh, big problem that we are facing not only in the United States, in the world. So what are the solutions? So we cannot solve the problem by putting a psilocybin in the water supply. So you cannot do for the billions of people. You cannot treat them. So I we are exploring a different thing that I was mentioning in the video about the geometry and the mental health connection, a strange relationship between the geometry. You know that there is a zero curvature, there's a positive curvature, negative curvature. So of in the mathematics, they say, I'm not going to go into the mathematical equations. I'm not doing any geometrical tangents here. Don't worry about it. Just I'm mentioning there is a geometry that is we experience in the as a humans, we see geometry in a different lens. That is we we are governed by the laws of physics, right? That's why we are our bodies, our human body experiences, expressions are all governed by laws of physics, the laws of that's why it has to come from. But there is I can tell you, there is a symmetry, there is a beauty and symmetry and geometry. There is a strange connection between them. If we take Marilyn Monroe on the left side, in the middle is Denzel Washington and the Indian actress Aishwarya Roy, or they're all supposed to be beautiful people. And what is the beauty? How do you define the beauty? If you take a axis and you draw the y-axis right in between the eyebrows, and then left side supposed to be, if they are more similar to the right side, there's we consider them as a beautiful. This is a research done. So bilateral symmetry, that's called a bilateral symmetry. The butterflies you see on the left side and right side, bilateral symmetry. Human beings are, we are bilateral symmetry. We do from top to bottom because we do two legs and two arms. We have bilateral symmetry. The best perfect symmetry is diamonds. That's why very expensive. Diamonds are very expensive because that's a perfect symmetry. So symmetry is embedded. Beauty and symmetry are strangely connected in that sense. But what is it is it is also, in the research they found out, is a funny, people people, women particularly, have more orgasms. Sorry if their children are watching, I hope not. um, if they have a husbands or their partners have a symmetrical bilateral symmetry, more structured there. Bilateral symmetry body is a more, they tend to have more orgasms. So take a experiment on that one. Then even honeybees prefer radial symmetry. The flowers look beautiful. It's not just honey alone. The flowers that look beautiful, they get it. The honeybees attracted to the flowers with a radial symmetry. They call radial symmetry. So there is also OCD, obsessive compulsory disorder. That is I had a friend in Philadelphia. She is a obsessively, definitely she's a OCD candidate. She puts everything in order. If I go there and mess it up a little bit, she goes nuts. I'm pretty sure some people like that yourself. So actually, we all used to think of a lot of medical industry used to think this is a healthcare experts used to think it is a psychological disorder. But more and more they're thinking about it is the extreme need for symmetry. Actually, we are, with lots of physics, with symmetry is the key for us. Bilateral symmetry. We grew up with a bilateral symmetry, so we like to see perfection, symmetry. You see, order. So probably it is evolution, genetic disorder. Probably they're thinking about OCD, maybe related to the evolutionary genetic disorder, may not be psychological disorder. So that symmetry is connected with that. So there was she was a Emmy Nather, is a German mathematician. She was born in 1882, and I always bring the historical figures. We learn so much. We ignore. We need to learn from them what they inspired, how good they get inspiration from all of from the nature itself. So Emmy Nather is a mathematician. So, but she spent a brief time in the area of physics. So she found out some laws of symmetry are connected with the universe and beauty. That somehow there is a relationship. They found out a mathematical relationship. Is not some. She's a mathematician. Remember, she was the first mathematics professor in Germany. Her supervisor her boss was a very famous another mathematician, David Hilbert. So they said that that when she was nominated as a professor, a lot of German soldiers got upset, and then said that German majors, they said that how could the woman can teach mathematics? How can the soldiers bow head to the woman? David Hilbert, her boss, said that this is not a Turkish bathhouse. This is a university academic institution. He gave a fitting answer to them. So she was the first woman mathematician of a very high caliber, in fact. So she actually moved to Philadelphia at the end of her life. She moved in 1935. She just 1 year before she died in 19. Um, I think 15. No, sorry, 1935. She died. I maybe mistake. I made that. So she moved to Philadelphia and she was teaching there. But anyway, what the last she found out is symmetry. I will explain to you what the symmetry is. If you take a snowflake and you move around any way, whichever way direction in 360 degrees, you can't tell the difference. That is called the rotational symmetry. Okay. So the laws of physics are still same. They look same. The laws of physics are same. If you see in the symmetry, if you are watching in the mirror, that's a reflective symmetry. It is called the image in the mirror is exactly same as yours. Are there any times they are different? Possibly so. That is in the physics that the universe was born out of and the symmetry breaking. In fact, I don't want to get into that one, but the symmetry is these are the called symmetry. The laws of physics are fundamental. You know that when you see the laws of physics, people think the I used to think as a physicist, I'm a physics graduate. I used to think conservation of energy is the fundamental. Energy can be neither created nor destroyed. But in fact, Emmy Nather, this woman, extraordinary woman of genius woman, said that it is not really, those are not really fundamental laws. These laws rise from the laws of symmetry. The symmetry, a geometrical structure. So symmetry is a geometry, basically. I showed you the snowflakes and the mirror symmetry is all geometrical stuff. So she said that, so for example, conservation of energy came from the time symmetry. So if you throw a ball to the up, it is if you do it today or tomorrow or day after tomorrow, it is exactly comes back into the law. The laws hold good. This law of time symmetry gave rise to conservation of energy. The same thing with the reflective, that mirror imaging, you say rotational angular momentum, rotational symmetry, and then translation symmetry, translation symmetry of the reflection came out. These are all fundamental laws, or their symmetries are the fundamental laws, not the laws of energy is not that fundamental. So it's a cheat sheet for the physics students. But in fact, the fundamentals are the laws of symmetry are the more fundamental. So Einstein called her the M.A. Nather is a genius. Think about another genius calling the woman genius. So how people don't know about it. This is one of the tragic story of the woman people undermining, history, not acknowledging woman in that sense. So she is as genius as is Albert Einstein, in my view. So the laws of symmetry are fundamental. So nature conserves the geometrical structures. When I last year I presented a Fibonacci numbers. So the fractal geometry is in the video I mentioned all the flowers, all the universe, all the leaves and the trees and everything maintain fractal geometrical structures. Fractal geometry, they maintain a fractal geometry, a self-similarity. The pot contains the whole contains the pot, pots also contain the whole. All the information is there. Some people say, for example, if you go all the way to the electron may contain from you talk to the universe to the stars, the galaxies to the stars to the atoms to the electrons. Electron may contain the entire information about the entire universe. It's possible. So the nature conserves the energy, even though our bodies maintain fractal geometry. There's a fractal symmetry in our body nervous system. You see in the viruses also maintain that fractal geometry. There are spike proteins that you see we went through a pandemic, and the coronary hearts, the coronaries in the heart, that maintain that you see the fractals there. You can see literally fractals, fractal geometry in those structures. So thought is now the new way of thinking now. Thought is a fractal geometry they are thinking about. When you give us complex thought, the neurons itself, they assemble together in a fractal geometrical structure. Basically, that's very interesting, right? So it is a thought may arise from the geometrical structure of the from the neural connections in neurons itself. So so thought and the geometry are strangely connected. I can tell you a story. This is a name is Joe Cameron from Scottish woman. She never felt a pain or anxiety. You know, she they did operation. 70-year-old woman. They did operation on her. She didn't need any pain medications at all. She is only two people in our planet don't have this extraordinary thing. They don't feel the pain, they don't feel anxiety, they don't get scared, nothing at all. That's just very strange. So they found out. So her doctor is Devji Srivastava, another Indian doctor. We have a lot of Indian doctors around the world now. He is in England, in Scotland actually. So they did a chili test on her, chili competition, both of them. He's Indian, he's not scared of chilies. But he gave up after a few chilies. He gave up. She was biting that left and right without any problem. Then immediately he was very concerned about it, and he sent her to the pain geneticist. They found a special molecule in here, a receptor that is a very special receptor molecule. Actually, that was last year. They won, these two gentlemen won the Nobel Prize for through the chilies, the connection between the pain and the temperature and the chilies. Through the chilies, they found out they won the Nobel Prize last year. These two gentlemen. So this woman is a it is a there is a molecule. It is called, they would think they found out there's a molecule called anandamide. They just named it. It's a neurotransmitter, a bliss molecule. They call it bliss molecule is inside of our body, inside our brain. We have that molecule. That's why say at the end of the death, probably that we release that bliss molecule before dying. People are peaceful, they say. This bliss molecule is called anandamide. Anandamide is a Sanskrit name. It's actually Scottish. These are the people that done in Scotland. Not it is a Swedish doctors found it actually. So even you put a Sanskrit name, it's called anandamide. Is like a bliss. That is the structure of the anandamide molecule. Is a neurotransmitter. So pregnant women feel that during this anandamide receptors are overactive there during the pregnancy, because they need to feel hunger, they need to feel bliss, blood bliss with the pregnancy, so they eat more, because that is one of the things they found out that is opened up during the pregnancy time. And also this molecule is active in the when the cannabis, the marijuana, the people who take the THC receptor anandamide is probably that is receptor is the one is causing that neurotransmitter is causing that blissful feeling after getting stoned. So there is a inherently we have a molecule who can give the peace for us in our body. It's already there. Body can create a pharmacy. Body is an extraordinary pharmaceutical factory. So mindful meditation 25, that's a strange connection between watching that strange curvatures that Albert Einstein hyperbolic structures. Okay, that's what they see when they do the 25 ayahuasca consumption, psychedelics, DMT. They produce these hallucinations, audio and visual hallucinations. You can literally reproduce them. We can simulate them through virtual reality. You can take the virtual reality, simulate them audio visual representation, and then you can invoke the anandamide bliss molecule. You can feel good about yourself. So you can do without substance abuse. You can get, at least you can try that 5 minutes a day. You use a VR, immediately it brings you down. You can actually see on the ECE electroencephalograph, you can see how the beta waves calm down to the alpha waves immediately, that fast, by watching the virtual reality for monkey brain people like me. Okay, so that is a very helpful technology, that helpful to bring you down to the calmness immediate. Then you have to go through the neurofeedback training and other trainings, but immediately you can simulate, you can truly simulate the process. You can truly simulate the extraordinary, the things that you feel experiences through DMT or ayahuasca or any other substance abuse substances. You can simulate that experience through virtual reality, and then with auditory music, and put the stereo music on it, you can literally see. And I highly suggest that you go through the mindful meditation every day for 5-10 minutes, and then start doing on your own. Eventually, that you are invoking that possibly bliss molecule. So, you know, I it is not easy for me to do all these things every day. I try my best, um, to do the research and to do this. I need all your help. Support me if you can. Whatever way you can support me is very help is needed. And really, I'm fascinated by these new connections. We are here as humans, a civilization. We're going through extraordinary times. We need to come together and do all these things, and help the other people through this process. I think I need your help. I want you to come and talk about it. I need your technical help, financial help, and logistical help. All of them are required. So please keep in mind, this is this is a, a it is a interdisciplinary field, as I mentioned in the video, that I want to bring different fields. Then you would see tomorrow, Mr. Naveen Jain is going to talk about microbiomes. I am going to talk about entropy in the next week. Entropy is healthcare. How we can reverse the healthcare? How can we use a entropy, a concept that came out of the universe? How can we use in the healthcare process, in healthcare plans, in fact, and healthcare hospitals doing the medical procedures? How can you use that in the healthcare plans on the healthcare administration side? How can you use it? That's in the next week I'll be talking about it. But thank you for joining, and I really appreciate all your help. Thank you for joining.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it.